let's see, let's do AP minus G equals T. Okay, this time we're going to solve for P. Okay, once again, we're going to go back to SADMAP just to make sure we're getting the right order. Now, if you feel like you have the order down, you don't have to write out SADMAP every time, but this is just for anybody that's struggling with understanding what to do in which order. So once again, it's how it's related to P. So this is being subtracted from P, so this is an S. This is being multiplied, and T is on the other side, so we don't really worry about that. So we have multiplication, subtraction. Subtraction comes first. We undo the subtraction with addition. So we're left with AP equals T plus G. And we divide by A to get rid of that multiplication. And this would be our final answer. We'll keep moving on. Let's see, dt minus f equals zt. Okay, just like in the ones we were doing with numbers, if we have two things that are common terms, we need to combine those before we do SADMAP. So I'm going to subtract dt to get the t's on the same side. So we have negative f equals zt minus dt. Now, this is one thing that's a little bit harder when we just have letters, but it's not too bad. So what we're going to do is we're going to factor out these two pieces. So it's like reverse distribution. So we're going to take out a z. Here, sorry. We're going to factor out the t's is probably an easier way to think of it. So they both have a t in common. So we take that out, then we write what's left. So we just have a z that's left from here, then we have a negative d that's left from here. We still have that negative f over there. Now, we're trying to solve for t. And really, we just have this thing that's being multiplied by it. So if you just think of this like one number, and it's being multiplied, all we have to do is divide by it. So these cancel. We're left with just t. And then we have negative f over z minus d. That's a perfectly acceptable answer. If you were to see this in a textbook, though, my guess is they would actually take this negative and distribute it down here, which would flip which ones are negative and positive, so it would end up being negative z plus d, and then they'd take it even further and say f over d minus z equals t. So that's probably how you'd see it in a math book, but this one in pink is perfectly acceptable, and I'm not super worried about it. So in class, you can just leave it like that pink one. Okay, so now we're going to do yx squared minus z equals t, and we will solve for x. All right, so we don't have any like terms to combine, so we jump right into SADMAP. Okay, and so identifying these, this would be, the y would be multiplying by x, the 2 would be an exponent, and the z would be subtraction. So when we look up here, subtractions first, we undo the subtraction by adding. Okay, identify what we have left. We have exponent, multiplication. Up here, multiplication comes first, so we undo that by division. So we have x squared equals t plus z over y. Then the last step, we square root. Don't forget that when we add a square root to a problem, we need to have plus or minus. And even though this answer looks really messy, we're just going to leave it and move on. Okay, we have two more that we're going to cover. So this one we are going to solve for b. And it's already ready for SADMAP. Okay, once again, this fraction we're going to think as division multiplication, but it's like one step. And then this is exponent, and this is subtraction. Start with subtraction, so we add g to both sides. Once again, this is exponent, this is division and multiplication. Division multiplication comes before exponent. So to undo the fraction, we multiply both sides by the reciprocal, or we flip it upside down. These cancel, so we just have the b squared. And we're just going to leave this like this. We're not going to distribute it. You could distribute it, but I think it's easier to understand what's going on like that. Now we still have an exponent. We undo that with a square root. Once again, we do a plus or minus. And we are just going to leave our answer like this. Okay, and for the last one, we will solve for b. Okay, this one's not ready for SADMAP yet because we have two like terms and they are not combined. So I will minus a over c b squared minus a over c b squared. We know that they're like terms because the thing we're solving for has the same power. So this is a b squared and this is a b squared. So that's how they're like terms. This cancels this, so we just have negative d. And then these will combine. We can just write them next to each other and factor out a b squared, or we can think of it like this. This is an alternate way to think of it. So we know we have a b squared, and then we can just write the other stuff next to it. So negative e c minus a over c, like that. All right, remember we're solving for b, and if we're following SADMAP, this entire thing is considered multiplication because it's just something being multiplied by b. Then this is an exponent. So we take care of multiplication first, and the way we do that is division. We undo it with the inverse operation. Let's see, divide by negative e over c minus a over c. All right, once again, this is going to look very messy, but we're just going to leave it. So this cancels this. So on the right side, we just have b squared. On this side, we have negative d over negative e over c minus a over c. Just leave it like that. Okay, one more step on the algebra. We square root both sides. And when we square root, we add a plus or minus. So we have our negative d over negative e over c minus a over c. And I did that too big, so let's get rid of that. And that is equal to b. Whoops, just b. Okay, if you need additional help, please come to Math Lab. But for now, calculator.